I recently invested $5,000 into a Mac Studio and a Mac Mini. Now, the primary reason for this is because one, well, my wife needed a computer to edit on and also use AI functionality. And I wanted a central brain, a local model to go ahead and run my AI agents. Now, I asked the same question that probably a lot of you are asking right now. What are the top AI agents? And so in this video, I want to give you my own personal perspective on the top AI agents that I've been testing so far. I've been testing a lot of different AI agents. In fact, this right here is my Hermes agent. Right now, as you're seeing on the screen here on my Opus clips, I have a Claude Co-work agent currently waiting to go ahead and grab clips from one of my latest videos. And also, I have been using Codex, which also has AI agents built inside of it. It is a super app by OpenAI to go ahead and try different things to find functionalities. And so I've been doing a lot of testing. I've spent probably too much time doing this over the past couple of weeks, and it has helped my business immensely. It's helped optimize a lot of things. I have built really cool stuff. For example, on my latest video, I have this cool little presentation that I went ahead and built, stuff like that. And it's looking better and better. Every single time that I dig into this, it just gets better and better and better. So let's get right into it. So what are my thoughts on the top AI agents so far? So I would like to start with the one that I do not like. Maybe I'll put this like last. We'll write this down. Yes, people still use pen and pencil in 2026. But last I put OpenClaw. So OpenClaw isn't getting a lot of fanfare right now because its memory system is really bad. So pretty much it has a really bad time remembering things, and it's really clunky. I do not enjoy using it at all. I don't enjoy using it all. So I just kind of like X'd it out. I tested it for probably 3 days. Maybe that wasn't enough time. But from my perspective, it hallucinated a lot. That means like it gets a lot of the details wrong, and just wasn't having a lot of fun using it. Now, the next one that I would like to put on this list right now, at least for my content creation business, for my marketing agency, it's going to be Codex. Yes, my friends. So Codex is really good at a couple things. For example, if I am trying to make apps, it's pretty good at doing it. I mean, let me just say here that if you go with any of the top 3 agents that I'm talking about here, you probably can't go wrong. I think Codex is really good at coding. Like if you're just going to code, if you're just looking to go ahead and do animations, like for example, let me just do Control N here. If I go use at hyperframes to make a video talking about Codex and why it is better than Claude Co-work at certain tasks. And it's just gonna go ahead and do it. Like that's a cool thing that it can do. Also, a little fun little thing that I do is I talk to it. So I use this thing called Whisper Flow. There's a bunch of different ones, but I go use at hyperframes to make a video talking about Codex and why it's better than Claude Co-work in certain tasks. So I type that, and usually like it'll be a little bit faster. So a couple of things I explore there. But overall, like if you're just coding, if you're just trying to make stuff very quickly, this is nice. I find that it lacks, I think the best way to put it is taste. It will build things very quickly. For example, like this YouTube thumbnail app, it'll build skills very quickly. It's very awesome at doing that. But if, for example, I'm building like a YouTube comment bot, it doesn't have that self-learning mechanism that some of the other agents have that I think is the missing link for Codex. For example, if I ask Hermes to go ahead and work on improving my YouTube comments, because it's something that recently I've been running into. This is a big issue. I want to have something to help me comb through the scam comments, and also, go ahead and help reply to some of these comments that I don't have the time to do. And also let me know what these comments are so that it doesn't just kind of go into the void. So I kind of tell these things, and Hermes creates a cron job response pretty much every hour right now because we're trying to train it. What I decided to do was this. I said, let's make a goal for you. I want to optimize you and make you the ultimate YouTube comments reply bot over the next week. You should be looking at comments every other hour, suggest one reply, learn how my audience talks, and take notes over time on how to optimize. And it remembers all of this. In fact, the latest update to Hermes actually has much larger context. And I actually think this is super cool. Like, I think this is very useful. And so Codex lacks that ability at the moment. It can access your computer. It can do a lot of the things that Claude does, but I find that it just lacks taste. It lacks that that do-it-all mentality. It still feels like that old GPT yes man attitude that isn't productive enough. It's just not productive enough. And I think eventually it'll get there. But as it stands, having a local Hermes agent is still significantly better. It remembers things better. You can also get access to cron jobs. You can get access to Kanban boards, which pretty much diversify tasks. So if you do a Kanban board on Hermes, it will go ahead and give it to the agent that does the task the best. And I just think it's a lot more efficient than going through these folders manually and having to kind of go through the tribulations. And also, one of the big things that I think is negative for Codex specifically is a lot of these apps that you build, you need to have API keys, which are really expensive. Like doing anything on Codex API or doing anything on Claude API is just way more expensive than having what's called OAuth. So OAuth is essentially your normal subscription for ChatGPT and your normal subscription for Claude. So I find that because it's just much more costly to operate these actual applications because we have to do them through API, because it's not really self-learning, it's just not there yet. I think they're getting really good, but it just doesn't have the taste. So I would say that Codex is number 3. I think it does have the ability to bug fix. So if you're doing bug fixing, let's say you build a website. I recently built a website. I'm happy to share it. It is a website to rank crypto coins. I know it's just my brand. It's what I do. And so you click on the coin, it gives a plus, and then you put the tier there, and it saves the image. It's beautiful. You know, it works absolutely phenomenally. So I started building this website originally when Claude Opus 4.5, I think, was out. And I remember the old GPT was absolutely awful. It didn't work for anything, absolutely useless. And so Claude Opus 4.6 came out, made this website. The first version was okay. When 4.7 came out for Opus, the website actually started looking really good, but it had a bunch of little issues that I was having a lot of trouble fixing, which is something that when Codex came out, I literally dragged the folder in and I said, hey, work on this project. Let's go ahead and build out this website better. Can you optimize this website? Can you make it look cleaner? Can you make it load faster? And I'm not even joking with you. I just put that there, and over the span of maybe 20 minutes, it fixed the entire website. I didn't really have to do anything. Versus with Claude Code, I had to just constantly iterate every single little point until I got to where I wanted to be. So it's just infinitely better for stuff like bug fixing. And I would say also it's really good at going ahead and doing planning. Like for planning and for bug fixing, I do think GPT 5.5 extra high using Codex is really good. But overall, like I wouldn't use it as a primary AI agent. Number 2, I would say is Claude. And I used to use Claude Skills only on my regular browser. So what I would do is I would go ahead and use this chat, right? I would use this chat and I would talk to it and I would build skills over time. These skills are like little rules to give your chatbot so it has an understanding of what's going on. But then recently I started using Co-work and it was a big unlock for me, an absolutely massive unlock for me. So Claude is very similar to Codex in the sense that, at least Co-work, let me write that. So Co-work is really, really good at, I would say, creative tasks. And also I would say it's really good at writing. I think for writing, it's the best in the world by far. It's not even close. So I've actually been using it in recent times. It's actually doing it as we speak. I have it every single time I upload a YouTube video. And yes, guys, I'm spitting game right now. I have it go out and integrate into what's called Opus Clips. It's an AI platform. Now, I really don't like how the clips come out in terms of the titles and descriptions. I think they're garbage when it comes to Opus Clips. So I've given a bunch of different short form channels and like what they do for their title and description. And I tell Opus to literally like, look at it right here. Opus to go ahead and click on Opus Claude clicks on Opus and finds all of the transcripts for the videos and develops a title and description based on that. And it just comes out infinitely better. It's not even close. It's so much better. When it comes to writing and stuff like that, it's just so much better. I made this right here, this little presentation on this video that I'm about to do, literally on that. It is absolutely incredible. I've got to say, the only big con is that it is, so the con is that it's slow. It's so slow. It's so slow. It's by far the slowest. I'm telling you, if Claude didn't eat up so many tokens and it wasn't so slow, it would dominate right now, but it's just not there. And if you're using Opus 4.7 fast, it's a scam. You're just using up so many tokens. It's just not worth it. So if it wasn't so slow, I'd probably honestly probably put it above Hermes. I found Claude Co-work, for at least my business, it's a very creative business, to be by far the most productive. Like, I tried Codex, and I'm trying Codex for a couple things, but in the end, it just doesn't have that taste. It doesn't really learn my personality and how I do uploads, and it doesn't constantly iterate on that over time. But what does constantly iterate on that is the number one on this list, Hermes Agent. So Hermes Agent really came out like a storm when I bought my Mac Mini. I was waiting quite a bit of time. I think OpenClaw was the big AI agent, but recently, really, Hermes took the space by storm. It really took the space by storm. It is absolutely incredible. I mean, I talked to these little AI agents, and I've got a couple sub-agents. What that means is that it's a couple of them working together. It is just incredible. So I've got my Mac Mini over here, and I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page. Look, boom, it just fixed one of the problems that I had. So I'm here remote. If you're wondering how I'm doing this remotely, I am using an extension called Chrome Remote Desktop. So just a little bit of alpha there if you're doing the same thing yourself. And these Kanban boards are super cool. I mean, these are really cool. And so if I go ahead and go to triage, for example, and I have a rough idea, let's say my rough idea is I want to look at other competitors. I don't have to spell it right. In the crypto niche, and see how I can better adapt my content to be better. I don't know. I don't even need to spell things right. And so I'm just going to create it, and it puts it on this to-do list, and it's going to go ahead and coordinate with the other agents that I have to do this task. I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's so cool. And so that's why I really love Hermes. I think it is just really phenomenal. Recently, they also added Grok OAuth. Now, I will admit that Grok OAuth is not very good. Grok 4.3 is not very good, but it's a new version. A lot of us on Twitter have the subscription, so we might as well use it. And from what I have found personally, it's decent at pulling posts, but you can get something called Super Data, and it will pull them better. It's just more efficient. And so I'm still testing it out. I'm still playing around with it, but it feels like the agent that is iterating the fastest. I have my orchestrator bot. He talks to some of my other agents to get things done. I have my YouTube comments bot that, for example, every hour he processes 50 comments on read only. So he's not actually doing the comments. He is capable of doing the comments, but I have him on read-only mode because I'm still training him. I advise you to please don't give your bot destructive capabilities before you train it properly. But here's, for example, the best suggested reply draft. There's a user asking, what is your opinion on Aether now if you opted out before? And then his reply would be, good question. I'll let Jesus know people want an updated Aether. Take now that his view may have changed. Jesus AI, and he makes sure that he says he's Jesus AI. And I think it's the most sick thing in the world. For example, if I'm like, I am very curious on the latest news on crypto. Can you create a presentation to showcase that to my viewers for a possible video idea? Also rank them based on the urgency of the matter, how important they are, and it will just start doing that. But the cool thing is that the new version of Hermes has this thing called /background, which runs the prompt in background. Why that's cool is because before you could only run one prompt at a time. Like if I'm just gonna copy this. If I went hi, and then I went hi, it would keep interrupting the task. And that's just not very productive. And the only way that you would get around that is by queuing it and then putting the word that you have here. But let's say I'm going to go, hi, how are you? And then at the same time, I'm going to put the background task. It will do both of them at the same time. So pretty cool stuff. That's a pretty cool unlock. And that'll only happen on the latest update. So let's say I have, another background task that I want to do at the same time. Can you look at the other AI agents and make sure that they're doing good work? Also find ways to optimize them and let them know. Boom. Another background task started. Background task. Can we find a way to optimize you so that you can go ahead and direct the other agents more efficiently? This is an orchestrator bot, so he's just essentially the CEO. And so I'm giving them multiple background tasks at the same time. He's got 3 different tasks that he's doing right now as we're speaking. And then at the same time, I can be like, what's the latest and greatest things that have been done with these AI agents that I'm running right now over the past week? So like, what's our biggest unlock? And it just does it. It just does it. It doesn't complain. It doesn't yap. It just does it. And I think it's awesome. I think it's sick. For example, if I wanted to do another, background task, maybe I'll move to another one of my chats here, but yeah, okay, so he's just cooking though. You see him. He's like just doing so many things. And so, yeah, I do think that Hermes agent right now is the best. So in essence, if you wanted me to give you an honest take on all of them, because this is changing so fast, and I think that spending the time to learn all of the different models and what's good and bad about them is very important. So OpenClaw, I wouldn't use it right now. It's just not competitive against Hermes. Why would you use it? But Codex is really good for bug fixing. It's really good for planning apps. If you're actually like coding websites, you probably should be using Codex. I mean, that's the honest truth. If you're just doing like more chatbot-esque analysis, what am I saying by that? I mean, like if you're just writing, you're doing more creative tasks, like you're asking it what's going on and during the day, maybe you can build a cool little app. For example, I have a bunch of these little artifacts, like my JM Crypto Daily shortlist. If I click on it, it gives me stuff that happened today. FedEx joins the Dara Governing Council. It's a couple months off, but I'm still working on it. And it just, gives me some stories. Pretty cool. I close this one. I have a couple other ones. Then you probably want to use Claude. And if you want to build your next employee that will be your assistant and help you out and eventually outpace Claude because it just keeps remembering things over and over and over, well, it will remember what happened several days ago, then you probably want to go over to Hermes. I mean, these are all different skill curves. I would say that the easiest one to use is honestly probably Claude Co-work. Definitely the easiest. Most people are doing just creative writing tasks. If you're more into coding, go to Codex. And if you want to really go deep down the rabbit hole, get a Hermes agent. Really, that's all that you need to take from this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next time.